Morning. Yeah, okay. Welcome to our today's class. We are going to move forward. I've sent to you like an assignment, all right, related to OSI model, all right. You know that we do have 7 layers, but when you look at that particular table, there are 2 missing columns. One column related to the protocols and one column related to the devices. So you have to look at your layers and you have to fill those 2 missing columns. For every layer, there are some protocols. There are some software or programs that works like on that particular layer. You have to fill those protocols. And there are some devices, some network devices that works in application layer. You have to find them. So for every layer, you have to find those protocols and those devices. So this is the meaning of that particular assignment, right? Let's try to move forward, right? So I'm gonna try to share my screen for those who are watching me online. Okay. Now I'm gonna add like another column, data type, this column number 4, right? Yeah. So how many layers got the OSI model? How many layers? 7 layers, right? So as I told you, this model will allow you to understand how devices communicate, right? When you can understand how devices communicate, this will help you when it comes to troubleshoot. When you have to fix some issues, you will know in which model you are, right? So we started from the application layer, right? So when you are sending a message, so we are starting from the application layer for the sender. But from the receiver, so we are starting from the physical layer, right? Now, from the application layer, your message will be called data, this one. Your message will be called what? Data. So this is the data type. There are questions also here. When your message will move from the application layer to the presentation layer, you're gonna still call it what? Data, right? And when your message again will move from the presentation layer to the session layer, you're gonna still call it what? Data, right? But when your message will move from the session layer to the transport layer, your message will be called segment. We are talking about segment, right? And when your message will move from the transport layer to the network layer, we call it a packet. So it's just a name, right? Your message will be called a packet. Your data will be called a packet. And when your message will move from the network layer to the data link layer, your message will be called a frame. Did you understand? Just a name, a frame. We're talking about a frame. And when your message will move from the data link layer to the physical layer, we call it bits. Right? It's gonna be called bits. Did you understand? There are 1 or 2 questions you're gonna get from here. Just a name, like of your message, like in a particular layer. So you have to know that. Transport layer, segment. Network layer, packet. Data link layer, frame, and physical layer, bit. right? Now, those two other missing columns, you're going to add, right? Let's move forward, all right? I'm gonna try to check if I got another slide here. Okay, I got this one. Let me try to, it must be bigger. I just try to change. Okay, this way it's fine. Now, there is another model that we call TCP model, this one, right? That we are going to see now. TCP model, right? This TCP IP model was designed by the Department of Defense, America, US guys. So they came up with this model, right? But the OSI model was developed by ISO, but we're gonna see it later on. So this one is a model that the American people came up with, right? You know that the internet started with what? From the US, from the army. So this guy, they came up with their own model. That model, we call it what? TCP IP, right? So this one is a practical model. So the OSI model, it's what? Theoretical. This one, it's a practical, right? Real model, right? So the OSI model is conceptual, like theoretical, but this one is practical or real model, right? So for troubleshooting, you can use the OSI model or you can use what? The TCP IP model. TCP means that T, it's transport. C, it's control. P, it's what? Yeah, protocol. That I, it's internet. P, it's protocol, right? TCP IP model. This model will have 4 layers, not 7, right? You have to know the difference between the OSI model and this TCP IP model. There are questions on this one. So the TCP IP got 4 models, 4 layers, right? So they summarized, they said, okay, the OSI model says that it's 7 layers. But for us, for computers like to talk, those computers are going to follow 4 layers according to the TCP, yeah, TCP IP model. So they just combine some layers and they make them 4. So they came up from 7 to 4. But those two are similar. They are doing almost the same thing, right? The major difference is this one uses like 7 and this one used what? 4 layers, right? The 4th one is what we call what? The application. That's almost like the same name. Huh? So for them, for these guys, they said for computers to talk, those computers need to follow those 4 layers. Number 4 is the application layer, still the same, huh? The application layer. Number 3, number 2, it's what? They call it what? Internet. And number 1, it's what? Network access, right? You can see here the meaning here. Let me try to, first it must be big. Okay. From the, oh, I cannot see properly. Let me just copy here. On this one, it's a bit clear. So the application layer does what? this layer will allow users to access what? Network applications, right? Because you have to access Chrome, right? You have to access Chrome. Chrome is a network application, right? So this layer will make sure that you're going to access data, that application properly, right? Just yeah, the same as the other one, right? But you are going to notice that there is no presentation layer here. There is no also session layer. Those three layers, no, those two layers, they are going inside the application layer. So this application layer from the TCP IP takes what? Those three, the application, session, and the presentation. They combine those three, they make it one. So those three layers from your OSI model becomes one layer from the TCP. And the transport layer does what? Message delivery and you're checking for errors and so on, right? And the internet layer does what? Just sending the message from one computer to another one. Just the same thing that we discussed, right? So the internet layer will take one message from one computer and send it to another one. Finished. And this network, like access, will do what? Okay, I'm copying, yeah. So the transmission between those two layers, those two computers, finished. So to summarize myself, right? You need to understand this. For you to understand how computers talk, you can use two different models. You can use the OSI model, or you can use the TCP IP model, all right? The OSI model is a theoretical model, just a conceptual model that explains like to you how basically the device can talk. That model got 7 layers, but the TCP IP will have 4 layers, right? So they just take those 3 layers, like application, like presentation and session, they make it one from the OSI model. From the TCP, those 3 will be combined to be one. And the application layer from the TCP does what? It's allowing users to access network applications. Finished. The transport layer does what? The transport layer will make sure that your message will be delivered without mistakes. The internet layer will do what? Will make sure that your message will move from one computer to another computer. And the last one will make sure that the correct cable will be used and the message can flow properly, right? So I don't want to go further because you're going to get lost. But when you're going to finish like most of the chapters, you will know what is the switch properly, what is the router properly, what is this. Now I'm going to come back now to this model because now we cannot start talking about routers, switches, because we are not yet there. Any questions? Now your responsibility, you have only to find the devices and the protocols, you just fill them there, right? Any questions related to this model? As I said, when you wanna fix like something, maybe they are calling you like one of the guy cannot connect to the internet, right? You can try to fix the problem by following maybe the OSI model. So you know that, okay, let me start from layer 1, right? Let me check the connectivity. Let me check the cables. The guy is using the proper cable. Yes, you tick. That port works properly. Yes. So the connectors works properly. Yes. So you are done with the physical layer. So you're gonna be sure that no, this problem is not cable problem. It's not a connector problem. Now you say, okay, let me move to what? The second layer, data link layer. Data link layer talks about what? MAC address, right? So you must go to your network interface card. You must check the MAC address. You must check if the network interface card works properly, right? Maybe the MAC address for the problem. Maybe they blocked that guy computer from the MAC address because they can block your computer by using your MAC address. So when you're gonna be fit enough, you can go to the switch and block somebody by using his MAC address. I can block your phone from the wireless access point by using your MAC address. You can put your Wi-Fi password, but you are not connected. Why? Because they blocked you from your MAC address. Maybe this is the problem, right? So if you are done from the layer 2, and from the layer 2, switches works from there. Your switch will work from the layer 2 because it's a layer 2 device from the data link layer. So you have to check what? All the switches, right? Maybe that computer is connected to the switch. You have to go to the switch and check what's going on. Maybe, right? So layer 2. When you are done with layer 2, like all the switches are configured like properly and so on, but the guy is still not connected, you can say, this problem is not a layer 2 problem. It's not switch's problem. This switch is not a problem because I've checked like everything, it works. Now your mind must move to layer 3, right? And you know that from layer 3, the main point is the IP address. Now you must follow the IP addresses. Maybe that guy's computer using what? Wrong IP, right? Yeah. If it was a wrong IP, you are going to find it from there. Layer 3. And routers works from where? From layer 3. So from layer 3, this is where you're gonna check what? Routers. Some configurations from the router, right? So you see how troubleshooting moves, step by step. So every time when you encounter like a problem, you have to think logically. Not just sitting and say, what's the problem? Hey, I'm not connected. You say, hey, no internet, at this, you start panicking. No. So you must start from the cabling. You check like, so if everything is plugged. So you remember yesterday, like us, we jumped. So without even checking from layer 1, that switch was not connected from the power outlets. Not even plugged. But we're asking like ourselves, hey, what's the problem? What's the problem? Right? Why? Because we never followed the processes. Troubleshooting will come with what? Steps. There are methods that you are going to learn for troubleshooting. There are steps that you have to follow, logical steps when you want to fix something, because you know how devices can talk, right? So next time you have like connectivity problems, start from the beginning. Start from layer 1. Check if all the devices, they are connected. Like my friend there in the morning. So he was calling me. He said, why this computer is not on? But he didn't plug it, right? So sometimes we just jump fast by mistake, but we know that we have to plug. But by mistake, you just come fast, you say, why this printer is not connected? Maybe the printer is off. Maybe the network cable is not connected. But you are checking the IPs, you go to the switch, you go here, but it was only here, it's not plugged like properly. Why? Because you jumped that step. But if you are following those steps like properly, you can even Maybe you have a notebook, like a smaller one. So you are ticking whatever that you are checking. From the physical layer, you check like everything. You can come to all the computers. You make sure that you check everything. Like all the cables are working properly, right? When you are done, now you said, okay, not physical problem. Now you go to, sometimes you can call your other technicians and say, okay, this is a layer 2 problem, go and fix. So layer 2 problem, you know whether it's switches problems, like MAC address problems. So when you are talking about layer 3, like everybody in the company will know layer 3 is about routers or layer 3 switches, right? Okay. Any questions before me moving forward? I'm repeating this part a lot because I know like it's very, very like important for you guys, right? Now, let's try to talk about some protocols, right? That you can use in like in every layer. So I won't gonna take like all the 7 layers. So I'm gonna just pick up some of them, and others you can carry on by yourself. I know that you are smart enough and you're still young, so you can carry on by yourself, right? But I'm gonna explain most of them, right? Let me first fix my document. Okay. Yeah. So let's discuss about some protocols, right? There are few questions also that will come from those protocols, right? From the application layer, we do have like some protocols, right? And you have to know them. The first one, we are going to talk about DHCP. It's the first protocol from the application layer. DHCP means a dynamic host configuration protocol. You can check it from the internet, from the document. It's already there from your platform. When you can start reading, you can see, right? So it's one of the application, one of the protocol from the application layer. So if you have DHCP problem, you will know that I'm where? I'm in the application layer. And the application layer doesn't require like the cables and so on. You already jumped all those steps, right? D, dynamic, that H, it's host, C, it's configuration, and P, it's protocol. Now, what does this protocol? Very, very important. DHCP does what? Will assign your devices what? Those IPs automatically. Right? Very easy, eh? I know. Which color can I take? I want, okay. So the job of this protocol, it's very simple. It's assigning IP addresses to what? To devices automatically, right? So if one of the device cannot get an IP address, you will think about what? DHCP. You say, this can be DHCP problem. Maybe one of the phone, you can give your user Wi-Fi password, but still it cannot be connected. Maybe doesn't get what? The IP address. But the IP address must come from where? From the DHCP, right? So when you are dealing with computers, right? For specific tasks, especially for networking, for specific tasks, there's a program, there's a computer program, there's a protocol that does that, right? Like for assigning your IPs to devices, there is a computer program, there's a protocol that does that. And that protocol, it's what? DHCP protocol. So the job of this protocol is just to assign IP to devices, right? Now, your responsibility, you have to know the processes, how to configure this protocol. Hey, don't sleep. Baba last year said there. You have to learn how to configure this protocol. But if you know already, you are fine. Maybe you are checking one of the computer, that computer doesn't have an IP, or that computer cannot get an IP. You will know that this is DHCP. So I must go to my router or to my wireless access point and try to check what? DHCP protocol. Maybe DHCP protocol is off. You see what? If you can go to your wireless access point, you put DHCP off, nobody will get what IP addresses. Nobody can get an IP. And when you don't get an IP, means you cannot be connected. So you can even take your modem. You check where it says DHCP. When you put it off, means nobody will be connected, right? Because the DHCP is off from the configuration point of view, right? Now there is a question where they are going to ask you, what is the meaning maybe of DHCP, what DHCP does? There's a question, obvious, is already there, right? Now, there is a port number. What is the port number for DHCP? The port number means what? As I told you, for every task, there's a specific number that will identify that task. Like DHCP will have its own number, right? That number will identify DHCP. That number will allow so many applications to talk, right? So when I'm looking you, when I know your port number, I can find you so easily, right? So DHCP will have what we call a port number. That port number means just a way to identify that service, that protocol. What is the port number of DHCP? Those who finished already this task. It's port? Are you sure? Don't give me the wrong one. Huh? Me, I'm old, I cannot memorize. Which port number for DHCP? My friend said 65, 67.
This one we didn't have yesterday. Some of us.
What did you get? Port number for DHCP. You got internet in front of you. Just type DHCP port number. Hey, my friend. So I it about speed, eh? When somebody is talking, you are just there, you are checking already. You cannot wait somebody to say. When somebody is going to ask you something, you got internet there, you can just type straight, you get it. So is it correct by saying port 6? Yeah, 67, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to your router, right? Or to your wireless access point, you can block the DHCP by using port number 67. Right? You can hack a specific network for a particular company. And when you block this port number, means what? You block the DHCP. Nobody will get an IP address, right? You know, most of the hackers, when they want to hack something, right? They're going to just type a comment like from the computer where you are. From that computer, you will know like all the ports that are opening like in that network. They're not gonna tell you like DHCP is open and what? They're gonna tell you the numbers. 67, like open. This one, it's open. Open means what? There is a road that is already like, established. You can use it to get into that network, right? So from my computer, later on we can do those exercises. So you can just be in your computer, you type a comment from the comment prompt. You ask which ports are opening, like here. They will give you a list of those ports. Now you will know, port 67 is open. Means what? DHCP is open. When they are saying it's open, means you can use it to get into that network, right? Like you guys, you like smart TVs, right? So I have a smart TVs and so on, but you don't know like most of the hackers. they are using smart TVs to get into your home network, because your smart TV will be connected to the internet. There's an IP, there are some protocols that are running there, right? So somebody will try to check those protocols that are opening and try to access. That's why they always say, the ports that you are not using, you must put them off. Those are the logical ports. So we do a physical port from the switch, from the wireless access point, and the logical port number. Like this 67 will identify what? DHCP server or DHCP protocol. There's no need for me to come and like ask like which type of port are opening like in your networks. I can just use my computer, will know what we are doing currently, what these guys are doing around like the building, right? Just by checking the port number. So I will know which type of services that are running like currently, right? Okay.
Are you going to show us?
Let's move forward. When I'm talking, I already told you like everything. So when I'm saying like there's a way you can check,
Mother, you must show us how.
and seeing how the port are opening and so on.
Mother, you must show
You can
us.
go home and check and ask how to check the opening port, which command like to check the opening port. Check. Okay. The second one from the application layer is what? FTP, File Transfer Protocol, right? It's one of the protocols from where? From the application layer, right? File Transfer Protocol, right? You know, most of the time, right? We always transfer what? Large amount of files, right? Maybe you want to transfer like 100 gigs. Your document, maybe it's 100 gigs. How are you going to send it? You cannot use your email address and so on, right? There is one of the protocol that is responsible of doing that. That protocol, that computer program knows how to transfer large amount of file securely, right? Did you understand the meaning of this protocol? This computer program, it's only to facilitate what? File transfer, right? So if you want to send to your friends like 100 gigs, right? You can use this protocol, this FTP. You can go to command prompt and so and so and so. Or maybe you can use a graphical user interface. There are so many software that behaves like FTP. So when your company dealing with large amount of files, like sending document and so on, you can get use of what? FTP, right? Protocol. And when you can block this FTP from the router, from the wireless access point, nobody can send those large amount of files and so on, right? What is the port number? What is the number that will identify this? Thank you. But if you're mistaken, it's not me, it's you. Me, I'm just typing what you are telling me. There's no time for me to start again thinking, go to my memory and say, no. I'm old already, eh? You're still fresh, you're still young. You must study, eh? Yes? Break. Tea break. Okay, just give me how many minutes you can give to me? Yeah, just go and take your coffee and come back. I will repeat for you. Don't worry, right? You can just go when you come back. I will continue where I stopped for you. No, I will explain to her. Go and take your coffee as we are continuing. No, I will do it. It's an agreement between I and her. Go and take your coffee, do whatever you like, and come back, right? Don't worry. My friend, go. Okay. Why doesn't trust me? It's me who's saying so. Go. My friend, go. Don't kill yourself. Right? Just be free, do whatever you like. When I'm gonna come. But, yeah. Okay. Now, guys, Did you understand? That number is just a way to identify the FTP, right? So from the router, from the wireless access point, maybe from the traffic, right? So when you see maybe from the command prompt, yeah, okay. Okay, now, right? Those port number, they are very important for troubleshooting and so on, right? You always ask yourself, but how come some guys can know what I'm doing and so on? From the port number, I can know that you are going to the internet. I can know what you are doing there because I can see those port number. Those port number will tell me which type of services they are open there on your computer, right? Because there are comments that will allow you to see the opening port. When I know the opening port, I will know what you are doing like on your computer there. And from there, I can know how to play around, right? So there's no magic on whatever that guys are doing. Now let's move to what? There's another protocol that we call the telnet, right? I'm assuming like it means telecommunication network, something like that, right? Okay, what is the job of telnet? This one is for transferring what? This telnet is for remote accessing, right? So when you wanna access something remotely, you can use what? Telnet. So this telnet is a computer program, but we call it a protocol, right? That protocol will allow you to access like a device from distance, right? Sometimes I cannot like access a particular computer because this telnet is off or disabled, like on my computer. So when you are not like allowing this telnet, nobody can access it via telnet because it's not allowed on my computer, right? Sometimes maybe there's a problem, like in one of your switch, maybe in Cape Town, but you are here maybe in Durban or Johannesburg. You wanna access that switch from your home or from your restaurant by using this telnet, right? But you find out like you cannot access it. Maybe that switch doesn't allow telnet, right? Doesn't allow this protocol. Maybe it's blocked from there, right? But for security purposes, later on, you have to block all those things, right? For security purposes, but for management also, to see that. And which number can identify this telnet? 20? So when you go to comment prompt, you use that comment for seeing like the open port. When you see 23, you will know, hey, this computer port 23 is open, so I can use telnet, right? So it will show you the opening port. And you know that don't use again a telnet because it's not a secured protocol. So the difference between this telnet and this secure shell, they are doing the same things. But the first one is not communication is not encrypted. No encryption. Did you understand? There's a question on this one. They'll ask you which protocol will allow like a technician to access remotely a device, but which one doesn't use a secured like communication? It's telnet. So when you are accessing somebody's computer, or maybe when you are accessing your switch for troubleshooting, by using this telnet, means that your communication is not secured, right? The comment that you are typing, the comment that will be flying to Cape Town devices, those comments will flow in clear text, means that the way it is without being changed. So the form won't gonna be changed. Somebody can capture the signal and see your comment. Maybe you are saying line console 0, password my husband, but the guy will say password bed. But that was not your password, right? So they can change it. Why? Because you are using a non-encrypted protocol. Did you understand? And there's a question on that.
Where on the exam?
Always, wherever I'm talking about, you're gonna find the question. There's another, don't mind about the exam, but even for your own knowledge, right? Not like they are calling you, there is one of the branch, like people cannot get like connectivity to the server, you start thinking about your car, how to go there. No, you have to think about remote troubleshooting. What are the techniques you can use like in order for you to access those devices? And when you are designing your network, you have always to finalize with what? Remote configurations. You have to keep them in a way that you can access them remotely, right? You must make sure that like every branch, you can access those devices remotely. You must make sure, you must leave your configurations properly, right? You know that, no, there's no need for me when there is this type of problem for me to go there. So I can fix it from where I am, right? There's what we call, it's SMTP, Simple Network Management. Oh, no. I was looking at one of the protocol, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Huh? It's SMTP, huh? Because there are lots. For what? For emails, huh? It's SMTP or what? Simple, it's Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It's what? SM, huh? Simple Network Management. No, I don't want that one. I want. Okay, let me check on it. No. You guys are for mails. It what? Yeah, it's SMTP. Why me? You know them. You guys are still young. You must know than me. Yeah, it's SMTP. The way I was saying. Where is my document? You must be fast on checking when somebody's talking about something that you don't know. Check. This is IT. It's about speed, right? You know, when a company like maybe for just for 2 minutes, there's no internet, how much they are losing. Can you imagine maybe when you go to Pick and Pay, just 5 minutes, there's no internet. The customers will go, millions are going, and it's your responsibility. Suppose like it's you, the network administrator. They're gonna come to you, they say, hey, yesterday we lost 1 million. Yeah, the responsibility will come back to you. So whatever that you are doing, the notion of speed must be in your mind, right? You know, I know one of the campus in one of the country I was. That country, right? So I don't want to say the name of the country. That country, when you are doing like IT or networking, right? Skills number 1 is typing. You must be fast at typing. Skills number 1. They are telling students, you must be fast, right? And when I was learning about this networking, I got my first project, right? My first project, one of the guys wanted like his own internet cafe, right? They called me, they said, okay, we want somebody to install the network for us. They called me. I didn't know nothing that time, right? But I was the project manager because the money came to me. So I had now to look people. I looked one of the guy for running the cables. So I gave him maybe 2,000 rand. The guy came maybe for 2 hours, ran the cables. That guy also didn't know the configurations. I had to call another guy Hey, that guy was 19 years old then. So that guy was working in one of the bank. The guy said, okay, I'm gonna come around 7 p.m. We were there waiting, but me, I was clever because I was learning. That day, I've learned the cabling from that guy. Whatever he was doing, I was checking. I said, this is the cabling. Next project, I never call again that guy. Now I was waiting the guy, that small boy. Me, I was like 21, that guy was 19. That small boy gonna come and do the configuration. It was like 20 computers, like this one. That guy came. The guy came, hey guys, how are you? He was like, you know, those small boys. Eh? So the guy said, hey guys, are you gonna pay me? I said, obvious. Hey, I called you, I'm gonna pay you. Oh, so he told me the price. But me, so I was just checking what the guy was doing, right? Now, when the guy touched the keyboard, we want it like to run away, guys. Huh? When that guy touched like the keyboard, you cannot even know what he's doing. You can only see on the screen. He was even trying to disturb us because he knew like these guys, they're smart. Whatever I'm gonna do here, these guys, they can know. And next time they weren't gonna call me. The way the guy was typing, I'm telling you, even myself, I was impressed. That day, I just realized myself, you know, when I'm gonna go home, I must start learning all the shortcuts and so on. The guy touched the keyboard like, and we couldn't see what he was doing, but you could see the comments like on the screen. Fix. Just 30 minutes, the guy was done. Hey, my job is done. So me, I was now there. I was, what this guy did? Take the money, I paid that guy. And the guy went, right? But next time, when I went home, I tried now to find out what the guy did, right? You know, the guy was not assigning those IP addresses from the graphical user interface because he knew by assigning those IPs from the graphical user interface, we will see what he's doing. So by clicking there, small screen, right click, go to open network, go to internet properties. The guy was not doing that. The guy was using the command prompts, the command line for him to assign those IPs to computers. You see, just to disturb us, right? So speed, it's very, very important. They can call you somewhere. They are waiting for you to fix the network for the business to run. But if you are working slowly, every minute you are losing money because the customer, they're going out. They're going to go to the shop. There is nothing. What they're going to do? They're going to go to the ATM because when you are taking your money by the ATM, those banks, they are making profits. For every transaction, there are some rent they are making, right? Suppose like those ATM, they are down for 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes, just 1 minute. People, they will decide not taking their money, they will go. Not taking means the business is losing. Why? Because the IT technician was very, very slow, right? So from today, whatever that you are doing, make sure that you are doing it fast. So even the simple stuff, just do it fast, right? Now, this protocol, SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. What does it mean? This protocol will be dealing with what? With emails. People are sitting there nicely, they are sending the emails, they are receiving the emails. They don't know like there is somebody who's making sure like you're gonna send properly and you're gonna receive properly. That guy, it's what? The person is what we call SMTP. This protocol will make sure that you are going to send and receive your emails properly, right? And if you can go to your wireless access point, you can block this protocol. Nobody will send emails. You can just go to, maybe you don't like your friend there. Just go to his Gmail account, go to configurations, check Gmail, go to SMTP, change the port number. She will never receive the emails like again. Hey, but don't do that. Huh?
Show us.
So SMTP, it's what? I already showed you, but you never listen. I already spoke about everything, but you don't always. Okay, port number it's what? 25, huh? Thank you. I think I know at least. 25, this is the port number. But if you go to somebody's like Gmail configuration and so on, you change it to 30 and whatever, that person will never receive emails. Why? Because wrong port number, right? And if you can block it from the wireless access point and so on, maybe all of us here, we are in trouble. No receiving of email addresses or not sending. Why? Because it's just this configuration, right? Now, sometimes you can, like for companies, when they got the email problems, right? They can call somebody, wanna start checking. They can call somebody, maybe they can pay the guy 50,000. But the guy will come, he knows like it's only the number that's wrong. He's gonna come there, waste the time the whole day. But he knows that, it's the port number. The port number issue. So most of the task, it's the logic. When you know what you are dealing with, the task will be very easy for you because you know what is the problem. When they're talking about emails, there are list of protocols, like there's another one, it's like, so there are many, right? But I'm just explaining few, right? Did you understand? So you must know those those protocols for emails and so on, right? So when somebody's telling you, I cannot receive the emails, right? You check the internet, is fine. You cannot go to IPs. You cannot go to ping because the guy is already connected, but he cannot receive the emails. This is not IP problems. You see? But if you don't know, like, no, there are protocols for emails. Maybe the problems comes from there, right? You aren't gonna fix the issue. Did you understand how the troubleshooting is easy when you know what you are dealing with, right? Don't memorize the family problems, because if you don't know, if you're memorizing the family problems, those concepts, you won't gonna sit here, right? You know me, sometimes I was doing even 2 months. If somebody from the family sending me like a message, I'm not reading. Like now I got like 20 from the family. I've never opened those WhatsApp messages because when you are learning, you don't want to be disturbed. You cannot read like any kind of messages. Some messages are going to break your heart. And for you to recover, it's going to take you 5 months. Yeah, sometimes a year, just by reading that message, right? So when you are focused like on studies, you can fix which kind of like WhatsApp messages you must read and which one you must just read later, maybe after writing, right? Because I know how there's also ping and so on. So I gave you some of the protocols from the application layer. You two guys, make sure that you're going to check some of them. When you are at home, this time you must watch like IT courses. What are the things you must watch? Not watching, I don't know, Zodwa, whatever, I don't know those guys. Neo, it's Neo, what? That's guys. It's Neo, I don't know these guys. They are singing well, but this time it's a time of being focused, right? But for you to write, yeah, there are a lot. That way I don't want to go. You want it a lot, because that's one, it's the one that you are using. Okay, she's forcing me to add another one because most of people like it, the HTTP. This HTTP means what? Hypertext transfer protocol, right? This is the protocol for transferring what? Web pages, right? When you go to Facebook, when you go to Google, those are the web pages, right? You always receive them nicely, you send them, and so you do your research because there is one of the protocol that's making sure like everything will be good, right? If you can block these ports, which port number? I know it because I don't have family problems in my mind. It's 80. Yeah, maybe for 10 years, I know it. So if you can block this port number, means what? Nobody will go to the internet. Nobody will go. How are you gonna receive web pages? Because the port is blocked. Right? So when you use that command I told you for you to check the opening ports, right? Like in your network, or maybe you only targeting one computer. When you use that command will tell you the port that are opening. When you see this port like 8, it says like next there, open, you know, hey, this guy is connected to the internet because port 8, it's what? It's open. So you can walk via that road because the road is open and gets into the network, right? Let's move now. So there are so many that you guys now, you can continue and fill my document, right? You got Friday, you got Sunday, you got Saturday. You can go and do what? Fill from the application layer, those are missing. You can put the meaning and so on, right? Just try to understand, right? Now, let's talk about the transport layer. I like this one also. Transport layer. These concepts are easy, guys. Eh? You can see nothing is hard. Oh, you want tea time? Break tea time. But I wanted to finish like all of them, but I know like we are tired and we spoke about too many things. Okay, guys, break for now, and we are going to move forward later.